Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Move podcast. This year's coverage of the tour is brought to you by Ventum Bikes. They're designed, tested, and assembled in North America and delivered directly to your door. My road bike is the NS1. My gravel bike's the GS1. My personal favorite, I think both of them are total rocket ships, but that gravel bike, the GS1, is money. Hats off to Dia and his crew. Special offer for our listeners, 10% off when you use the code WEDO, W-E-D-U, at checkout. That's WEDO, W-E-D-U. Go to ventumracing.com/themove. And also a cool little social activation they got going. If you tag at Ventum Racing and at WeDo.team on Instagram, talk about your ride of the day, register to win. You're going to get the chance to win an NS1 or a GS1. I'm talking about stage 3. I'm joined by JB Hager and George Hincapie. George, just quick question. 2 questions, actually. Has your son won another national title in the last day?
Not over the last day, no.
Okay. Is there anything else coming up that he's going to win? Any other national championships?
I'm actually considering putting him in the mountain bike championships here in Winter Park, Colorado at the end of the month.
Really?
Thinking about it.
Is he as passionate about the mountain bike?
No, but he's good on the mountain bike. We've ridden with him a bunch.
Yeah.
And second question, did you not, I think we should start consulting each other on what we wear. This was not by design. We all just sat down on set and I looked at George and then JB, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
This looks planned. All wearing the same shirt. Who does? We do. We all do wear the same shirt. Should we cue up our friend for the last day, Brian Holm, as we said the other days? Our good friend Alain will be back on Tuesday talking about the stages and giving us the pronunciation. But for now, since we're in Denmark, we got a Danish guy, Brian Holm, to give us the correct pronunciation. Stage 3.
Stage 3, from Vejle to Sønderborg.
I'm so glad we have him to do that.
Do we have the file where he raps them out all 3 in a row? Because it's actually really cool.
I don't know if he.
Can we get one more time? I want to
I have the quick file.
One more. I want to try to pull this off.
Stage 3, from Vejle to Sønderborg.
From Vejle.
Love
it. An incredible story, Dylan Groenewegen. We're going to talk about that, talk about his journey. This has been a very, very complicated journey for him. I'm cheering for the guy, he made a huge mistake, but he's back, clearly back. But we'll get into all that in a second. Today's show also brought to you by Wahoo, another one of our personal favorites. I pretty much rock the whole suite, everywhere from pedals to watches, to bike computers, to my kicker bike, my all the stuff. I love riding indoors. I've turned into an indoor kitty, as they say, JB.
Up until this year, you would never ride.
I know. Now, but I live in a winter climate. It's 3 feet of snow outside, so I have no choice. I love riding my bike inside with those guys. So they rarely discount stuff. Special offer for our listeners. This sale will end July 5th. There's 20% off the kicker and kicker bike, 25% off the Rival GPS watch, 20% off the Element Bolt and Roam GPS computers, 10% new PowerLink power meter pedals. Head on over to wahoofitness.com. That's wahoofitness.com. Also today brought to you by LMNT. It's warming up out there. Speaking of riding inside, now I'm an outdoor kitty. Okay, it's summertime. It's time to be outside. So when I get outside yesterday, I don't know if I just had a rough night the night before, but you see me sweating yesterday?
I did.
God, and then Anna took me out last night, and I was with all these girls on the dance floor. You should see me cutting a rug. No, and this dude gave me a hug on the way out, and he's like, "Dude, you are sweating." So I went home and I hammered some Element. I swear, I was sweating like a pig. It is my favorite go-to hydration source. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. No sugar, no gluten, no artificial BS. Special offer for our listeners. You can get the free sample pack right here and try all the different flavors, figure out which one you like. Then you can go more specific from there. Head on over to drinklmnt.com/themove. That's drinklmnt.com/themove.
Now I understand when I showed up to your house this morning at 7:30, when our usual call time, there was nobody awake. It was crickets.
I got up.
I was down by myself in the basement.
I got up to go to the bathroom and I said, I have a feeling this stage is just not going to be that eventful. I'm going to go back to bed for a little bit. And when I finally got up, I heard the TV on down there and saw Courtney's car outside. And I was like, uh-oh, I think they've already started working.
Well, it turns out it wasn't that eventful until the last K anyway.
Right.
Well, last
It's actually kind
6K.
of surprising to see a third stage of the Tour de France, only one guy away. Magnus Cort Nielsen going for Lance's favorite jersey, but in the Tour de France, it's really odd not to see more guys. In
he got
breakaway.
over those 200-foot climbs better than anybody today. It was really cool to see.
I enjoyed seeing the excitement, the passion he had through it. But it was a boring stage.
Yeah,
leading up to that,
and in his home country.
Yeah.
That's.
But let's talk about Dylan Groenewegen, because we touched on this yesterday, of course, after Jakobson won. And we talked about the horrific crash that we saw a couple of years ago, and which was certainly involved Dylan Groenewegen, was suspended for 9 months, this is a long time.
Yeah.
Lost his contract with Jumbo Visma, ends up with Bike Exchange, and voila, here he is.
Yeah,
on a day.
That crash was the perfect storm. It's what led up to that crash you see all the time. In fact, in today's finish, you saw something very similar. Sagan leaning into Van Aert at 70 kilometers an hour. One little mistake from one of those riders, something like that can happen.
Or
right
even
away.
more so with Caleb Ewan. I mean, he was if he doesn't hit the brakes or Sagan keeps going right, he ends up in the barriers as well. It happens. The issue with Groenewegen a couple of years ago was, they really decided that he meant to do it. Which,
For those, we'll describe it for those who haven't seen it. I mean, it was pushing Jakobson into the barriers, but in a very extended, from center of the road all the way into over a long period of time. And then the suspension, and we've heard stories of the hate mail, the death threats. And there's, Johan mentioned it yesterday on JB Squared, there still is an incredible amount of tension and disdain, I don't know the
between
exact word. Those two.
That's called hatred.
Grudge.
That's called hatred.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt that he would never in his wildest dreams imagine doing something like that or want to be any part of something like that. It was just a freak accident. I mean, we saw, Johan would know the exact year, World Championships with Steve Bauer and Claude Quickleon in Belgium. Ended up crashing him with about, a K to go in Belgium, in his home country. Same thing. Steve Bauer lived in Belgium, got all kinds of death threats, but nobody ever wants to crash another rider unless it's completely out of control. But it's just, like Lance said, a crazy story. And I'm super excited to see both of these guys on top of the world winning races. Right. That's the happy ending in this story.
And the other crazy stat here is Wout van Aert is second for the third day in a row, which, for a guy like him, he's only happy with first. But he continues this streak of, if he starts a bike race, the amount of time or the percentage of the time that he finishes on the podium, we've never seen it in cycling.
And that could secure the green jersey. I don't know if that's ever been done. A green jersey win, never getting first. It probably has.
Well, I'm sure it has.
Yeah, we still got a long ways to go. Anything can happen. But what I am noticing is there isn't a clear domination in sprints or sprinters' teams. I mean, you saw today Jakobson lost a wheel coming into that last corner, which typically a team like Quickstep would never mess that up. Even Markov at the post-race interview said, I made a mistake. I didn't look back. I just assumed he was there. But those guys, they rarely make mistakes like that where he loses the wheel, gets shot back 3 or 4 or 5 positions, and then he's trying to claw his way back by himself in the win. Also, you saw Caleb Ewan by himself trying to figure it out. These are the best sprinter teams in the world. They shouldn't be by themselves in the last kilometer. There's no excuse for that.
And everything matters. Sorry, JB. Everything matters. The zig versus the zag. You saw Groenewegen. He goes left.
Yeah.
Caleb Ewan goes right. Then he's hitting the brakes.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it is that close. You have to decide: do I go left or do I go right? And that makes all the difference.
What I did see, we're gonna break down the sprint later, I believe. So we'll talk about it more then.
Now, the other thing is for y'all that have listened to this show for a long time. Over the years, George has had incredible credibility within the peloton, the current peloton, whether it's riders or directors, and they talk to him and they send him messages and DMs, and he's just and I of course, Bike Exchange won the stage today. Great win for them. But Matt White is the director of that team, is a wonderful guy, great friend of ours, was on Postal with us, hell of a rider, total character. And I said, George, get Whitey to just send us something, and nothing. I mean, it was crickets. And Cav won't call him back.
So meanwhile, the guy his team just won a Tour de France stage. He's surrounded by media.
I understand.
They're trying to get out of there. He's talking to his teammates. I'm thinking the last thing he's doing is checking his phone for messages. So I'm asking the boss man to be a little bit more patient.
No, but this is the move. Okay, this is an opportunity to be heard on the move, but here's the good news: I might have been a little hard on George because. Apparently, we got now an audio file from Matt White, a.k.a. Whitey, giving a little bit of his thoughts on today's finish.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's a very, very special win today for Dylan. He's been through a lot over the last couple of years. And look, it's never easy. Also changing teams at the last minute and assimilating a sprinter into a new train. And we knew we had the guys to deliver him at the tour. And by golly, they did a good job today. Look, we had a rough day yesterday. The boys committed 100%, but and sprinting, you win some, you lose some. But one thing for sure is they didn't change their focus or their commitment, and we gave Dylan the best chance to win today, and he did an incredible job to finish it off.
So just thank you, Whitey. That's awesome. We appreciate
George.
you. We love
George
you.
is out of the doghouse.
George is out of the doghouse, but
Still popular.
I do want to go back to what he said. We're going to break down the last K, but for me, what was sort of very interesting was that last 5 kilometers when you had the jumbo train, you had the lotto train, you had the bike exchange train, you had
Alpecin, you had Matthew Van Der Poel just stringing it out.
But it's very rare that at least one of the Quick Step obviously had the dominant train, but typically you'll see these guys at least make it to past the 1K to go mark. But it seems like the goal of these teams now is just get them to about 1,500 meters to go or a K to go as safe as possible without burning as many matches or any matches as possible before that. And then the last K, they're sort of on their own, which you don't really see that often. Like I said, with the best sprinting teams in the world.
And what I was going to mention earlier, even Jakobson called out the lotto situation for Caleb Ewan. It's like he doesn't have the support. Like he called that out. That's why Caleb's on his own.
Right. And he went right when he could have gone left. That changes the stage for him, for sure. And not without, I was waiting for the Peter Sagan interview. He was, it looked frustrated. It also could have been a little shout out to I don't know, but we never got the interview. But he felt, the reporters on TV were, sort of going on about how he was felt like he got, quacked, so to speak.
Yeah, he got quacked, but it's good. It's fun to see Peter up there, and you know what? He's probably going to win a stage the way he's going. He's got the confidence. He's got the awareness right now in the final couple of kilometers, which is all it takes. He just needs a little bit of a break, and he'll get that win.
And tons of experience.
I think we should take a look and listen to that a little less than the last K and how close this was with 3 wheels on the line.
As they get ready, Michael
so you saw that Markov is thinking right there that Jakobson is on his wheel, and he's not.
He's not in position yet.
And you're going to see Ewan go right and Groenewegen go left. This is the race maker.
Outside goes Wout van Aert. On the wheel is Peter Sagan.
Well, if you can go back. Can we go back or not?
Yeah, you can
go back for like 3 seconds. Okay, now you can start again. Because you could see Groenewegen hesitate right here for that millisecond where he decides to go right and find that hole. Caleb went left, and he's in 6th or 7th position.
Right.
Groenewegen makes that millisecond decision to go the other way and finds the hole and ends up winning the stage, which is very impressive.
And then we'll take a quick look here at just how close 3 wheels were at the line from the side angle.
Oh,
So this is what I mean by not a clear dominant sprinter right now. This could have gone any way, and talking about Sagan, who couldn't pedal that last 10 meters for the most part. So it could have been 4 guys essentially equal at the sprint line, which is what does that mean for the up and coming sprint stages? It's going to be super exciting to see because there isn't a clear, powerful sprinter that we've seen in the past winning by 2 bike lengths.
and kids, you want to learn how to throw your bike? There's 3 amazing examples. Those are all 3 perfect. You cannot get the bike anymore in front of you or away from. You're essentially trying to get the bike away from you. So you want to get back as far as possible and push that bike forward.
The top of the seat is in their sternum.
Yeah.
It's that far.
That's right.
But you saw Groenewegen too. He made that gap up, I think, in like 20 meters. There was a headwind, obviously, but he made one move. It was about in the last 20 to 50 meters and got across the line by, a millimeter.
Also worth noting, which it shouldn't be surprising. These early stages are nervous. So guys, with that, everybody wants to be at the front. Everybody is technically fresh. There's still 176 riders, and I don't think we've lost a rider in this peloton. So you still have a big group. High average speed, 44 kilometers an hour, which these days look, you watch the boys on TV and you're like, oh, it's a cruisy day. It's just not. It's so much harder than it looks. I mean, 44K an hour with nerves, with wind, with all the anticipation, man, that's stressful.
Yeah, and it's just only going to get worse and worse. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
and it's rare also that now they have a rest day. We don't usually see that in the Tour de France. So a lot of the rhythm of the race is going to go away to a lot of these guys. And Tuesday morning, who knows what the leg's going to feel like for most of these guys.
Yeah, I'm glad we have a rest day tomorrow.
And it's you've mentioned it before on the show that 4th of July.
I hate rest days, but I'm glad it's tomorrow.
4th of July in Aspen is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big damn deal. But what's even bigger deal is as soon as we get done here, we're going to go for a bike ride, and then I'm going to fly down to Denver and see my boy Chris Stapleton.
Ooh.
I tell you, I saw this is how big a fan I am. I saw him a couple weeks ago in California, and I'd never seen him live, and I was mesmerized. I said, "Fuck it, I'm going again."
Wow!
And fortunately, we have a rest day. I'll be back in time for the parade, celebrate America's birthday, and then back into it Tuesday. Yeah,
and
I invited George too, as well, just for the record, to go.
Yeah,
and he declined.
You declined to see Stapleton?
With my little issue I had last week on the plane, I was a little nervous about going.
You got
And
the
I feel like I need a
anxiety.
day of recovery myself, so I'm going to stay back.
Take a Xanax. Ask anyone in this city; they got one.
Oh, let's do a couple more ads right quick. Today's show also brought to you by Athletic Greens. It's a daily. It's a part of my daily life, straight up. I'm just not good when it comes to eating fruits and veggies. I'm trying to get better, but I'm not. But Athletic Greens makes up for it. And this stuff is just proven time and time again with the smartest people in the world that it actually works. If you ask them, what vitamins should I take? What supplements? Most of the smartest ones say, the one thing you can do is Athletic Greens. Really, really cool product. And the brand is killing it. 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. All this for less than $3 a day. $3 a day to take complete charge of your health is a hell of a deal, if you ask me. Let's make it easy. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/themove. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/themove. They also... This one, Helix. Have you got unrolled your new Helix mattress?
I have. Yes. Thank you very much, Helix.
No, God, this has gotten so bad. But
And I am missing my Helix mattress here in Aspen.
that's the
by
thing.
way.
That's the thing. You can't travel with it. But these guys are such fans of yours, especially George. They'll probably send you a mattress. But
Everywhere he goes.
Everywhere, yeah. George, would you please send one to the Four Seasons in Dubai for George? But they make it really simple for you. You go on the website, you take a 2-minute sleep quiz, talk about the characteristics of your sleep, certain traits, whether it's yourself or you and your partner, whatever, and they fully customize the mattress. We've been on it for about a year now. And it's a game changer for me. I haven't slept like this, and I'm a hell of a sleeper, but I haven't slept like this ever. So if you're looking for a mattress, take the quiz, order it. Custom mattress shows up, and don't take it from us. By the way, voted the best overall mattress, #1 by GQ and Wired magazine. Go to helixsleep.com/themove. That's helixsleep.com/themove. And for now, $200 off your first mattress order and 2 free pillows for all our listeners. What else?
So I might have a funny one. I'm trying to get it confirmed, but back in the day, we all had to take the from the Pyrenees back up north, and the rest day you'd have to take the tour charter. Everybody crams into the small plane and goes. Well, LA back then had his own little jizzy, so he wanted the jizzy over by himself. And that was not allowed. But apparently some guys may be doing their own charters this year. I'm trying to get confirmation. Just to make you mad.
They would never allow us to take the jizzy.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd be surprised if they allow that. Now,
I would too.
COVID could be the one caveat where people could say, hey, COVID seems to be coming back a little bit here in the peloton. That
and
might be
airplanes are a place where people are exchanging COVID.
Right. That could be the one carve out. But we're not going to hold our breath on you getting.
I'm getting it now. I misunderstood. They're all in the tour charter, so it's still not allowed.
Yeah. They'll be all masked up.
Yeah.
Well, I know you took a look at stage 4 already, and we're like, this could get interesting.
I mean, it's an interesting day because I think it's a bit of a sleeper stage because everybody's thinking about the day after, which is the cobbled stage. But take a look at stage 4 from Dunkirk to Calais. What I find interesting here is you'll see here at the end, look at the finish. So all along the coast, this area of France is typically very windy.
Very windy.
Weather can be totally unpredictable. But that last little 20, 30K along the coastline could be a day maker, day breaker for some folks. And then the other thing I noticed is it's not, in this part of France, is also not entirely flat. It's constantly rolling. Look at that. There you go. Look at the profile. I can't wait for the KOM competition that day. I mean, look, it's going to be a credible climb. I'm kidding. But take a look at the very end, the Côte du Cap Blanc-Neige, right? So that's with about 10K to go. It's 7.5% for a kilometer, with just 10K to go along the coast with the wind. I don't see a field sprint here.
I see Vanderpool taking off.
Yeah, he's 10K is a long ways to go, but he would probably need to take somebody with him. But it's going to be a complicated stage, and again, people, if they're sitting here going, "Oh my God, tomorrow I got to ride the cobbles," oh fuck. You better not be sleeping on this stage.
Yeah, I think 1K 7%. I think the sprinter guys will start that climb far enough in the front to where even if they lose some positions, they'd still end up at the top of the climb at the back, and we know how quickly they can move back up. So I still think it's going to be a field sprint on Tuesday.
But not dissimilar to what we saw Vanderpool do last year. Right? Because the 10, as I said, 10K is still a long ways to go, but it's not that long. So can these teams stay together, stay organized, and bring a guy like him back?
Yeah, but the Mur de Breton is more like 10-11% average for over a K. So that's a much tougher climb, and they did it 2 times in the last 30K. So it's a bit different, but I agree. It's a hard course, small roads. We all know that area. And like you mentioned, the wind is going to be a big factor.
Yeah. Who else comes to mind that can get over and maybe get away with that last little?
I mean, Wout van Aert. I mean,
yeah,
I'd love to see. How do you see those two guys go?
Yeah,
and the Pogacar's not. He can go with them in his sleep.
And let's not forget today, 10K to go. Groenewegen had a mechanical, got caught behind a crash, so he's bridging back up with 10K to go and still wins the stage. So a guy like him can still win. I mean, they put him through a rigorous lead up to the Tour de France. He had to do the Dauphiné, which was not suited for sprinters at all. Had a couple of days off, went to Tour of Slovenia, which was all mountain stages. He won a flat stage, but still had to get through all these mountain stages. So clearly this guy's fit, and I wouldn't count him out for Tuesday either.
Speaking of winning, I just got an update from our friends over at The Feed. And we should clarify a little bit on the bottle competition. So here's me seeing the douches, got my name on it, got my initials. And I meant this when I said it yesterday. I was 100% sure that you would just completely smoke me in this competition, like 10-1. And I should also clarify for anybody that makes a purchase at thefeed.com, the bottle's free. But I got breaking news. Okay, here's the scoreboard.
What?
So I almost have to put my glasses. I don't believe this. I mean, Team Lance 252, Team George 201. I mean, I'm shocked.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing. I think maybe with what happened yesterday, they kind of turned into the George show after my comments and made the highlight reel. Courtney put me on the highlight reel. I know you were disappointed about that. I think the fans felt a little bad for you.
No, so I think a couple of things have happened.
happening.
You are asserting yourself a lot more this year, which I think is super dope to see. And, I'm just waking up on the right side of the bed, right side of the helix every day. And I think the people are appreciating this. They see a new side to me. And JB, you've even commented offline, and I think it's super sweet and cute, and I appreciate it, that LA is just in a good mood. And I think it has come through clearly. So people don't lay down. Keep voting for Team LA.
You're leading the GC right now. You got it, but we got a long way to go.
Outside looking in, I think you came into this tour a little more fit and ready, as opposed to trying to catch up with George.
That is actually not true, but I appreciate you also saying that. Oh, goodness.
All right, here's something that we got to talk about, a project that we're going to get behind. Bikes for Kids Uvalde. Yeah. Tough thing to talk about, but we're going to try to spin it into a positive for the rest of these kids in this town. Not far from where we've lived for so many years in Austin.
Not far at all.
An hour, just over an hour away, really. But of course, I'm sure you've heard about the mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas. We are partnering with Operation Get Out and another Bikes for Kids charity that you're very close to.
Yep, based here in Colorado, Wish for Wheels. Brad and his team sit on the board there, so they do amazing work getting bikes to kids. I mean, JB, you've been doing this for 30 years, but a child, any child getting a bike is the key to freedom. It really is. I mean, that kid, that's their opportunity to just kind of get away, right? Get out. And like I said, you've been doing it a long time. Wish for Wheels does that. Operation Get Out does that. Now, think about this community. Think about this school lost, an entire class of their classmates. So let's just give these kids a little something and give them the opportunity to have a little bit of hope, a little bit of happiness, which the bike brings.
And our plan is to, we've got this big channel and a big audience that we hope will be very generous in this situation. And you can donate. You can go to wedo.team, and we've actually set it up so that you'll see what it costs for a brand new bike, a GT bike, and helmet is $275. So we're getting them at cost. And the donation page, you'll see $275, $550 if you want to buy two, $1,100 if you want to buy 4 bikes.
Right, and just so we're clear here, because you see the goal of more than $200,000.
Right.
There's 750 other kids in that school.
Right.
So it's a lot of kids. It's a lot of bikes. So it's a big number. But in any help, you don't have to buy an entire bike. Anything helps, right? And
you could hop on there where it says other and do $20 if you want.
Yeah.
But the goal is to get them on bikes, get them outside, mental health.
Right.
At a very difficult time. Go to wedo.team. You'll see on the top menu bar where you can donate.
And we're all going to be down there and give these kids these bikes.
And you tossed out there, if anyone who buys an entire bike or more, you're invited.
I mean, I threw it out there. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think it'd be amazing for anybody that wants to buy a bike or two for a kid or two. Come on down with us. Meet us in Uvalde. And if you buy the bike, hand that bike to one of the classmates who lost one of their friends or kids in their school. So I'd look, if we got 700 bikes we're giving away and 700 different people buy a bike, all 700 of them, come on.
Well, yeah, meet us down there. And
before you, we're going to go to questions now. Before you go to questions, I do want to point out that today was sort of insignificant in the sense that we did have some GC riders lose 40 seconds. Uran, Caruso, and Haig, which are all top 10, potential candidates, and for them to lose 40 seconds on a really uneventful stage is a serious blow. Nobody wants to be in that position.
I don't know if Rigoberto Uran's got bad luck or just not paying attention, but he better, if he wants to finish towards the top 10, you got to stop losing time and getting gapped off.
And we can confirm that there has not been any reconciliation between Jakobson and Groenewegen. His comment today was, my admiration for Groenewegen is completely gone.
Oof.
So there is no love there.
Oh, damn. Just got a little chilly in there.
That's just added a lot of drama to the rest of the tour.
Wow.
Yep.
Some comments and questions here real quick. Hans writes, congratulations to Enzo and his accomplishments. It
Thank
has
you.
to be his mother's genes.
That's for sure.
Definitely his mom's looks, I can promise you that.
He is a pretty boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That sounded creepy. Well, all the hen cappies are models, by the way.
I tell you, just go to the next email. Hurry up and move on.
My friends and I have really enjoyed hearing you guys, especially back together in Aspen. A listener and close friend of mine, Caleb, got a tough break recently and was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma and is starting chemo this week. We'd love if you could give him a shout out, LA. I know he'd really appreciate having you in his corner. That's from Arbol in San Francisco.
All right, Caleb, we're thinking about you. Hang in there, man. Let us know. And by the way, let us know if we can help in any way. Caleb Strong.
This is one of my favorite questions of all time. Steve in Denmark writes, how many insects does a rider swallow during a 3-week grand tour?
Oh, wow. One year I counted. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I get a lot of them in the eye. But I don't know.
Still happens on
You got me
occasion,
there.
but not much.
They got me stumped on that one.
Okay, one more here. Netflix is supposedly in the process of creating a series similar to F1 Drive to Survive, but with 8 of the World Tour teams in the lead up to the tour. Drive to Survive has been immensely important, increasing the popularity of F1 here in the U.S. especially. I'm curious if you think this might be something that helps elevate cycling's profile in a similar way from Shane and Frisco.
I think it's it has to, right? It can't not.
Yeah.
And it did. The impact it had on F1, which is already a huge sport and one that I think cycling should actually model itself after. So it's great that Netflix is doing this. It'll be interesting. I know a few of the top teams decided to not participate. So Pogacar and UAE did not. Jumbo-Visma did not. That's, I think in the first years of that series, like in F1, all the teams participated. Now this year, when Drive to Survive comes out next year.
That's not true.
What?
The first year, like Mercedes did not participate.
Got it.
So there was 1 or 2 teams that did not participate. I think ultimately they'll see the value in it, but we were talking about it yesterday. You can see at the Tour de France, they have about roughly 40 to 50 personnel on each team. And to add another film crew to follow you around, it might potentially be a distraction. And in some of these top teams' minds, they were thinking, we don't need this extra distraction right now. But if it's the same production crew or a similar company that did the F1 series, I think it'll be amazing. The drama is very similar. The technical stuff is very similar. The conversations in the bus. It's amazing what these teams go through in a 3-week race. We've lived it. We know it. So if they can portray that, in a great way, I think it'll be amazing for the sport.
So here's a question. So let's say go back to 2004, right? And Netflix is around, which it wasn't. This is a great story, by the way. Did you know this? So Blockbuster is dead, right? Blockbuster. I think there's one Blockbuster in the whole world. It's like in Alaska or some shit. Mm-hmm. They had an opportunity to buy Netflix in the early days for $70 million. 70.
Oh my!
It's a lot of money, but it's not. But it's not. And they turned it down. They said, "Nah, we don't buy these young guys."
Wow.
So there you go. But go back to 2004. What does Johan do if Netflix rolls up and says, "Oh, we're embedding ourselves with the whole peloton, and we're going to embed ourselves with you"? What does he say?
He says no, but we did do some documentaries.
We did the thing with OLN, but that was done by our friends in Austin, the Texas crew. So we knew the crew. We knew there was not going to be any of this controversy drama. We sort of, it was totally transparent, but we also had control. Mm-hmm. But in this scenario, you don't, right? Netflix rolls up. These teams are not going to have a final edit, final cut, any control. I think he says no.
Yeah, I think he says no. We did one in 2008 with High Road called Chasing Legends. It came out awesome. But it is, that little extra. Tour de France has got the most media requirements of any race that we do in the entire world. So to add on, interviews after you're doing these, it's just every moment in the Tour de France is precious. So it's a tough sell for many of these teams. I can actually understand why some of them said no, but hopefully eventually they all agree to do it.
I'll watch it.
For a lot of them, it's a lot of TV exposure for their sponsors. That,
totally.
If you're dominant, I could see backing out. If you're not, you got to be in.
Yeah. Well, I would encourage the sport of cycling to not stop there, right? If F1 is a great model, which it is, don't stop there, right? This sport needs to be. Let's stop, Lance. This got to go for an hour.
So I'll go to this story. That's from my good buddy Clay Young. Made me a cake for my birthday last Wednesday. He thought that I was here in Aspen. And I didn't get here till Thursday, so the sweet lady at the bakery had to remake this cake, and it's sitting out at the bunkhouse right now.
Oh, really?
For us to enjoy later on.
That is, I thought we were going to get some more Joe Natale, but happy belated birthday again, George.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's milking that birthday.
Yeah, I am.
I extended the invite to Stapleton. I got all access. You can't
trust me.
You can't see a rock show any better or easier or cooler way than the way I'm gonna see it tonight.
You got to go see Stapleton.
And he says no. I got him a bigger jizzy, N7 LA queued up, ready to go, and he says no.
I know. I'm regretting this.
Got to rethink that.
Where are we on the vote on whether or not George should shave? I mean, it's getting worse.
I'm getting some messages saying that no shave so far. I haven't seen any shaves yet.
I saw a picture from, we passed around some pictures from 4 years ago doing the show, and you were clean shaved, and he looks a decade younger.
Yeah.
Well, it was 4 years younger, but 20 years younger. And real quick too, if you have questions for upcoming shows for the team, please send those. TheMove@WeDo.team.
That's right.